Manchester City are arguably the best team in the world, but they also have the best manager in the world. They've achieved tremendous success in the last 10 years, but how was Pep Guardiola able to achieve that, you ask? Well, he did it by making a lot of tough decisions, some of which were his first 10 players. I call them Pep's 10. And they are Ilkay Gundogan. The very first signing that the Spanish manager made was that of Ilkay Gundogan from Dortmund. He brought him on board for a cool £21 million. It might not sound like a huge amount now, but back then it was a decent chunk of change. Gundogan is one of those players who can do a bit of everything. He can tackle, pass, and even score some pretty sweet goals. But things didn't start off perfectly for him. He had a nasty knee injury that kept him out for a while. You'd think that would slow him down, but nope. As soon as he was back on his feet, he became a beast. It was almost like he went to rejuvenate himself. He became a big part of the team that won a couple of big trophies because he delivered a lot of clutch moments for the club, especially towards the end of every season when the Premier League race gets more competitive. Over the years, he just kept getting better and better, and the boss Pep Guardiola really rated him very highly. In fact, they trusted him so much that they made him the captain of the team. It shows how much respect everyone had for him as a player and a person. He may be playing for Barcelona now, but he'll always be a City legend. Unlike the next guy on the list, Nolito. So, after signing Gundogan, Pep Guardiola decided to bring in another player named Nolito. He was a big deal in Spain, scoring loads of goals. When he first came to Manchester City, it was like a dream come true for the fans. He was scoring goals for fun, and everyone thought he was going to be a superstar. But then, things started to change. He stopped scoring as much, and didn't seem to fit in as well as everyone had hoped. It was like he couldn't quite get used to the English style of play. After just 1 year, it was clear that things weren't working out, so Manchester City decided to let him go back to Spain to play for Sevilla. It was a bit of a shame because he had shown so much promise at the start. Well, the same cannot be said for Zinchenko. Now, this guy, Oleksandr Zinchenko, was a bit of a surprise package. City didn't pay much for him at all, so no one really expected big things. But this guy was a magician. He was versatile and could play in a few different positions, just the kind of player ideal for a manager like Pep Guardiola. He could play as a left back, but he was also really good at passing and moving forward through the midfield. Even though he didn't always start, he always gave 100%. And when he did get his chance, he really showed what he could do. It was like he was always ready. But after a few years of being a great squad player, he decided it was time for a new challenge. Arsenal came knocking, and he decided to join former assistant coach at City, Mikel Arteta. And guess what? He's been doing great there too. No doubt about it though, he's definitely a player who overachieved compared to his price tag, and especially when you consider he managed to get his hands on 10 trophies during his 6-year stint with City. Basically, he was as successful as Sané was at City. Okay, let's talk about Leroy Sané. Manchester City really splashed the cash when they bought him. It was a huge deal at the time. Everyone was super excited to see what he could do. And he didn't disappoint at first. He was fast, skillful, and scored some amazing goals. He was a big part of the team that won a couple of Premier League titles. But then, he sustained a really bad knee injury that kept him out for a long time. Even after he came back, it wasn't quite the same. And to make things even more complicated, Bayern Munich really wanted him. They kept making offers, and in the end, City decided to sell him. It was a bit of a shock, but that's football for you. Sometimes big players move on to new clubs. In his time at City though, Sané scored 39 goals in 135 appearances under Guardiola and won 8 trophies during that time. He's now playing alongside Harry Kane and has been more than decent for Bayern Munich since he joined them. However, this success didn't follow Marlos Moreno at all, who didn't even play a single game for them. Does anyone still remember Marlos Moreno, the Colombian footballer? Well, his time with City was really wild. When Pep bought him in 2016, everyone was excited because Moreno was this big deal in South America. People thought he was going to be a superstar, but, and this is a big but, things didn't go as planned. Crazy enough, he never even played a single game for City's main team. Can you believe that? Instead of playing for City, he spent like 6 years on loan at different clubs. It was like he was always on holiday, except it wasn't the fun kind. Finally, in 2022, City said goodbye to him. Moreno moved to a team in France, but even that didn't work out too well. Now he's back on loan again, this time playing for a team called Konyaspor. It's a bit of a sad story, really. A lot of people thought he was going to be huge, but it didn't happen for him at City. And just like Marlos Moreno, the next guy also didn't play a game for City, but he was successful. Gerónimo Rulli. You know how sometimes you buy something really cool but never end up using it? Well, that's kind of what happened to Manchester City with a goalkeeper named Gerónimo Rulli. They signed him a while back, but he never actually played a single game for them. Can you imagine that? Buying a top keeper and not letting him play? Immediately after he arrived, Rulli was loaned out to Real Sociedad, who he ended up signing for the following summer. It turns out Rulli is actually a really good keeper. He's been doing great at other clubs since he left City. It's like they found a gem and then just let it go. So while City might be kicking themselves a little for not giving Rulli a chance, it's definitely worked out for him. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but it can end up being a good thing in the end. Rulli is 32 years old now and plays for Ajax in the Eredivisie. Now let's talk about a club legend, John Stones. At 47.5 million, Stones was the most expensive signing that Guardiola made during his first summer at City. But when John Stones first joined Manchester City, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. People were a bit unsure about him. It was like, can this guy really cut it in a big team like City? Even when he made mistakes, Guardiola still praised him for his personality. In his own words, he said, "John Stones has more personality than all of us here together in this room. More balls than everyone here. I like that. I love him. Under pressure, the people criticize him. So I am delighted to have John. With all his huge amount of mistakes, I love him. I love guys with this personality." But guess what? He proved everyone wrong. After a bit of a rough start, John Stones really turned things around. He went from being someone people questioned to being one of the most important players on the team. He was crucial in their treble success and their recent Premier League title, their 4th in a row. He's found his feet and just keeps getting better and better. Now everyone's talking about how good he is. Pablo Mari. You might not remember Pablo Mari from his time at Manchester City. He was one of those players who was there but never really got a chance to shine. The big boys at City were just too good, you know? But don't let that fool you. After leaving City, Pablo's career took a crazy turn. He went on loan to a few different teams, trying to find his feet. Then, something amazing happened. He joined a Brazilian team called Flamengo. And guess what? He won the biggest football prize in South America. Can you believe it? From not playing for City to lifting a huge trophy in Brazil. His awesome performances there caught the eye of Arsenal, who decided to give him a shot. He did pretty okay for them too, but now he's back on loan again, this time to an Italian team called Monza. What a journey it's been for this guy. Now let's talk about another goalie, Claudio Bravo. Claudio Bravo wasn't a bad signing for Manchester City, you know? He was a good goalkeeper and helped the team win some games. And he was a ball-playing goalkeeper with his feet, but his shot-stopping skills were decent at best. When he first came, he was the main man between the sticks, but then City got this other keeper, Edison, who was like really good, so Bravo kind of became the backup. Still, he was important for the team. He played in some cup games and did a pretty good job. He helped City win some trophies too, but after a while, it was clear that Edison was the #1 choice, so Bravo decided to move on and play for Real Betis. It wasn't a bad move for him. He got to be the main keeper again. Now to our 10th player in Pep's 10, Gabriel Jesus. You guessed right, it's Gabriel Jesus. This guy was a total steal for Manchester City. He came in young and hungry and just kept getting better and better. He scored loads of goals, helped the team win a bunch of trophies, and was just a joy to watch. City fans loved him. When he decided to leave for Arsenal, everyone was surprised, but it turned out to be a great move for him too. He's been doing really well there, scoring goals and being a leader, so all in all, bringing in Gabriel Jesus was a fantastic bit of business from Manchester City. They made a profit on him and he helped them win stuff. That's a win-win situation right there. And that is it guys, the first 10 Premier League signings made by Pep Guardiola. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment and make sure to subscribe for more amazing football content like this.